Hello guys and welcome to the first video here on the channel. I'm Suited Steve and today I'm going to make a world tour of my survival world. So to start things off, I'd like to talk a bit about why I'm doing it in the first place, and then I can move on to properly show this world. So I'm making this tour because I want to record some videos I actually already did, as this world that I'm in is a 8-year-old backup of my actual world. In this period of time, I recorded a couple of videos. I think there are 9 or 10, and I think those are really important to this world as many things changed. Even though I was not able to play that much, the world changed completely, and I think I cannot skip those as it would make this entire thing even more confusing. So I know that's not the proper order to start things. It'd be the ideal to start a new world from the beginning, but I'm feeling quite inspired to play here. There are many things to be done, and the things that already exist I'll be improving or remaking them. My plan with this tour, that I already tried to record many times and I was never satisfied with the result, is to explain the history of this world as best as I can. So by the end of the tour, you know everything about it. You'll know as much as I do, basically. And hopefully this entire thing will be a bit less confusing. Going through backups, trying to explain things the best way as I can. I deleted many backups. I had 90 gigabytes of backups, and then I ended up deleting it all. So I only have the ones in my saves folder that are many, but not as much as I would like, and the ideal. But I'll try to extract as much as I can from those backups. So my plan is to continue with making things in this world for a really long time. As I'm feeling quite inspired right now, I have big plans for this world, and not only this area but other areas as well, and so I'm feeling quite inspired to continue playing here. Just a thing that I forgot to talk in the beginning, I'm not a native English speaker, so I'll make mistakes, probably very often, so I apologize for that, but I'm trying to improve my English. So I think that now that I said that, we can move on to actually beginning the tour. So I'd like to start things off by actually going back in time to one of the very first backups I have of this world. So I'm about now the same position as I was in the last clip, and as you can see, everything has changed. So this world was a server that I played with some friends, so this is why I only have this backup, because I was not the owner, and I made this backup once I converted this world to my single player one, as I was the only one playing. The server was a free service, so I could only load 4 chunks ahead. You could not use Elytra, as the world wouldn't load properly. Mob spawning wouldn't work properly as well, so it was getting quite annoying, and I was feeling inspired to play in here. I had another world that I was playing before starting playing this server, but I ended up deciding to actually play in this world, and I think that was amazing. So I'll start by showing a bit of this backup and trying to explain a bit of the process of how I got here in the first place. So I was the one that played the most in the server, but I wasn't in the very beginning. When I entered the server, there were already this house, that house, and the portal, I think. So here are the first houses. I'll come back to that house especially a few more times in the future, while showing more recent backups that are quite old as well. But those chests are just quite messy, some random items. This villager here was our first one. We had to cure him. It don't work with me anymore, the players. As I said, it was a free service, and there was a friend that was using a pirate version of the game, so my player wasn't actually me. That was actually a problem when I converted. I had to copy the advancement folders. So if I go here, you can see that I actually have some statistics because I copied the folder of my player. So you can see that the thing I mined the most was nether bricks, and you'll see that in a moment. When I go to the nether, it's probably wrong. It doesn't make any sense for me to only have mined 86 stone. So moving on, we had this lake. There's a fish called sushi here. Yes, here it is. As you could probably notice, it's quite messy, a lot of torches, some random builds. But that's something that is actually quite amazing and quite fun to do, because when you start to worry about making things fit each other, it's not as interesting as just building whatever comes to your hand. But this house, it's right now quite empty. The chests. Over here, there was another portal. The original position was centered. I just moved it to link it properly. I'll go to the nether in a moment, but let me just move on with the other things in here. So, this sugarcane plantation here was actually my source of paper for a really long time. When I would collect it all, I would get a stack of sugarcane, but then I would get a stack of paper, not even a stack, 63 paper, by collecting it all. It was enough for me for a really long time, but once I started doing projects in other areas of my world that would be far away from here, those wouldn't grow, as I would need to be 128 blocks away from those. And then I had to build a sugarcane farm that I'll show a bit further away in the tour. Going over here, actually over this pathway, we have two villagers. There was one here, I think it was a farmer, I don't know, didn't even remember what happened to him. And here, those are the weaponsmith and a random mason that I got this light grey glazed terracotta that I use in the iron farm. This is in the very beginning that I built that. And here is a cactus farm that I built. That's a bit more recent than the other things in this area, and as you can see, it's not really efficient as there are only 8 cactus. Here's a melon pumpkin farm, a aromatic one, designed by Mango. The chest is filled. We would use those to trade with villagers. There's a small manual one over here that was done before that one, as well as some cocoa beans. This one I just moved while trying to make the store again. Oh, that's weird. Didn't know that was a thing, but yes, that's not how you make those cauliflowers to grow. It was meant for them to split, so you'd get more cauliflowers, but that didn't work, as you can see. Now behind here, there's a wheat field and some potatoes as well. A lot of seeds in this chest, and a few more in this one as well. Down here, there are the turtles. I actually got those with a friend, and then they wouldn't lay eggs because they can only lay eggs on their home beach. So we had to go back, grab some eggs and put them here to hatch. And the 2 turtles that we got served for nothing, and it was a lot of work to get those. I'll go over that direction in a bit, but here was a project of making a bigger trading hall. As you can probably tell, it was never done, and the actual trading hall was this one right here. I said before that this was my oldest backup, but now that I remember, there is an older one that I'll go a bit in the future. But yes, inside here there's a breeder. This temple thing, I was the one who built it. I was almost the only one playing the server by the time I did this, and it stayed here for quite a long time. So down here is where I have the villagers. They would all get into this place. I was trying to explain it earlier, how I'd get them out of there. So it's quite simple. I just put a boat here, open the trapdoors and close very quickly, but there are way too many. Then you could kill one and go with the boat to the place you want. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of villagers here. We had many trades, but at some point I even expanded it further to that side to get all the possible enchantments. Here there's a farmer that we would trade melon pumpkins, the toolsmith, some librarians, the unbreaking one I think is this one. Yes, this is the mending one, and protection, and all the good stuff is basically in the beginning. But that's pretty much it for this area. So over here there's the zombie that we would use to transform them into zombie villagers, And then here there was this subway project that we were working on, that we started, never finished. Not even the first station. But as I said, we could not use Elytra, so transporting was just by foot. And yes, even though we had speed 2 in pretty much the entire place, minecarts were actually a good alternative. If you are on a fully powered railroad, you will be faster than running with speed 2. But the server was laggy and it wouldn't always be that. As you can see, it's actually quite fast. But minecarts are definitely not a good method of transportation. Over here, this is right underneath the house, as you can see. Down here, we had some masons. They would trade a stone for a emerald, and then I could buy quartz with them as well. So that was pretty nice. And here, there's some random items for trading with them. Golden apples, you cure them. Another zombie with full diamond armor, why not? 4 emeralds to do that, basically. So, going to the house, now that I showed the villager trading hall. The house was actually a project by my brother. And yes, he never finished. But once I converted, I started working on it. My house was that one. As you can see, it's the biggest. It's a bit weird. My friends would say that it was basically only roof in my house. Before the roof, it was actually quite shorter, if you see. And then after the roof, the house just got considerably bigger. This house, the base layout, is pretty much the same. And it was actually quite a challenge to build this house, because it's not symmetrical, weird shapes on the walls. But I was able to do that. It took me some time to design it. And it was actually the best thing I did in this world, as it made me advance more in the world. But I'll talk a bit more about the house once I'm on the more current versions, as I'll be able to show a bit better. And here there was just a lot of random stuff, mostly of my brother. This was my ender chest. So if you see, I actually had 2 chocobox of emerald blocks that I still have up to today. It is quite different from my current one, but underneath the house there's still one more thing. Here in this, beneath the tower, me and my brother, we did this hideout to hide the shulker boxes. So it was a double protection, so you would have to break this block to get into this room. Then we laid this chest with only trash, basically this, and then you had to dig down 2 blocks, and then you would end up here. And here's where I start most of the loot of the end raiding we did. We did it once, took us like a morning, and we were able to get quite a few shulker boxes. I think it was this double chest, maybe a bit more here. So there are still a few things for me to show. One of those being this lighthouse. That was the first building I removed, as it was right in front of my house. This lighthouse was built just to observate the world, and it was actually a bit, and it could have been used to fly a bit with Elytra, but that was never used because it was quite laggy to fly with it. So I showed pretty much everything from this area. There's only those furnaces and a stone generator that I tried to build and never worked properly. So if we go through this tunnel, here was a project of an entrance to the subway. So here it's the area where all the players would have their houses. This house here is a bit destroyed, but it was actually the owner that started destroying it. He was in the process of remaking the house. Underneath here there's only a few chests, as you can see, and it's right on the side of the villagers and the subway. And on top there was this just this area and a observation tower. Moving on, let's go to this other house over here. So this one was a house of a player that actually played after me the most. And you can see those chests are filled with random stuff, some wool. There is a wool farm in the backyard of the house. I'll go there in a moment. And here you can see there are a bunch of random stuff. And over here there was a secret entrance. As you can see, that you could open from this lava. And down here there was just this room that have some chests with some items, nothing truly special. And here just a unfinished part that ends up in a ravine. On the top floor of the house it's quite empty, there's just 2 beds and some barrels. But in the backyard there's the wool farm as well as some chickens. So the wool farm is quite basic, just observers powering the dispensers. And here underneath there's a collection system that you can see there's actually quite a lot of wool inside. And there are some in those chests as well. This farm actually stayed here for a really long time. I think I only destroyed it once I started working on the villager in this part. But even after I build the terrain here, they'll see when I go back to the newer versions, I still had this farm. And underneath here, the collection system is just a hopper minecart, collecting it all and just putting it in this hopper. Pretty basic. Behind here there's this wood mansion that was never finished at all. And then after I started working on this area, remaking it, I had to destroy it. It was a bit annoying as you cannot insta mine any of this wood. So it took me some time to do it, but I had to. And here it's just some random items, some furnaces and a creeper hole. Right here there's a house that I think that the person who started building it only played once here. So that's quite weird. I didn't even know what was the plan. And a lot of those chests. There are a lot of those random chests in the world. So we're going back to the main street here. There was this tiny house of a friend as well. There isn't even a chest inside. And right here there's my house. And the side I was trying to make some custom trees. Just making a pleasant area here. On the inside, on the first floor, it's quite messy. The chests and all this stuff. It's just this carpet here. But in the second one, it is actually quite better. I took some time, long after I would build the house, to make this floor. I think it looks quite nice. But nowadays I wouldn't use the carpet this way I used. And here there's this small balcony that there's a nice that you can have a nice view and get out quickly of the house. If you use this stair on the side, I would do this a lot. So just if I can, I did the first time, but now seems like I'm not. Yes. So I would just do this basically, and then you could get out of the house way quicker. On the third floor, there is a map as well. So there's a map here. It's updated actually. It's updated, I think. There's nothing missing. And on the third floor, never mind these boxes. Those I just took out on creative after when I was trying to make this tour before. These are from my ender chest, as you can see. And here I had some chest for wood, some redstone that was quite empty, some nether stuff, random items, like a lot of little random things, some bones that I got from the fortress, some leaves, more bones, some ice, some coal, and yes, that's pretty much it. Not the biggest storage, but I kept it for quite a long time until I built the house. Underneath the house, there, as it is elevated from the ground, there is this empty area here that I built a bamboo farm, really small one, but there's actually quite a few, as it has been running for a really long time. And here before I had a netherwart farm as well, but then I removed it and placed on the nether roof. That I'll go there in a moment. But down here there's this giant hole. That was the plan that we planned out on building a underground base that I've planned not for this world, but the world that I played before this one. That I actually ended up building it in survival, but here we never did it. I still have this hole, and it basically serves as a deposit. And here there's some stone, mostly materials for mining this place. And here's just for a prank, where I placed a dragon head with cursed binding. Then I would ask my friends to sit here. I said I would take a photo, and yes, I would place them. And as we used keep inventory true, you wouldn't be able to take it off. Now there are only 2 houses left. This one was from the owner of the server, or the world actually. And here there are a few things, quite simple. The interior. Here is an endermite, a elytra, the pillagers, enchanting table that never knew it was used. And here just a storage that is by the most part empty. Only this wall has some stuff. Behind this wall, he was planning on making a other room here, but I think it wouldn't be possible anymore because of this area that I'll show in a moment that I built that ended up cutting off this area almost in the middle. Last house is this one, so it was meant to be a Sandy's house from SpongeBob, but yes, it went terribly wrong. I did a circle for my friend, but then he gave up and just made a cylinder with a spur tree inside, and then together with a friend, we placed all those roses here that we got from the iron farm. So that was not something that this friend planned on having a floor full of roses in his house, but he never moved. And you can see that the chests are by the most part empty, pretty much all of those. But there is a second floor here with a bit more valuable stuff, as you can see. But yes, pretty basic. So there are only a couple of things to show. So here there is this boat that was never finished, as you can see. I designed from the internet, I think. I was not the one building it. There is a house here on the mountain that I just did very quickly. It only played a day as well. There are some trees here that I would use to get spruce wood. But that's pretty much it. So the only things left are right here. That is of course the iron farm. That worked very nicely. Not sure where all the iron is, but I got a lot of iron from this farm. Right here you can see the villagers. It's now not working. This was in 1.14. So now you would need to place 2 carpets here in order for the villagers to stay on this single block. And this was a farm design by Ep.0, I think. I'll leave all the farm designs on the description if they are not mine. But yes, very simple farm, very basic, very early game. But on top here, actually, you need to go to the bottom first. So if I drop down here, I end in this room. And this was a project that I started in order to store some resources. So here there would be the iron room. So the storage of the iron farm would be here. Here would be to trade redstone, I'll go there in a minute, and here would be to store all the gold nuggets from the gold farm that's on the nether roof. But as you can probably tell, I only did the redstone room. That stayed here for a really long time as well, as this was my only renewable source of redstone. So here there's a zombie, and those villagers I think I didn't lower their prices to 1, but when you get the price, you would be able to trade rotten flesh with all those here. Those you wouldn't need to cure them, and redstone from those as well, and then buy redstone from those here in this wall as well, and it would be just enough emeralds to do that. So, the only things that I have to show now are in the nether, in this world, so let me just go up here. So, this portal ends on the nether roof, and here I have the gold farm as well as the nether wart farm. And as you can see, it's quite bigger than the one that could fit beneath my house, below my house. And yes, it's not that big, but it still exists. It exists until today. This gold farm as well. The design is quite simple. Doesn't work that well in 1.16 because of piglins. So, as they won't get attracted to the turtle eggs that are in the middle. So the ideal would be to put magma blocks on the ground so they wouldn't spawn. But this farm was quite efficient. I think I would get about 40 gold blocks in 40 minutes. I think it was about that. So it wasn't all that bad. It would AFK right on top, so no mobs spawn on the nether roof, and you'll be able to see that a lot of zombified piglins fall down. So it was quite nice for the effort you need to make in order to have this farm. It is quite a good one. So below the nether roof, there's the main portal. And here I have another hub. This portal was not originally in this position. I was trying to link those, and I was able to, but yes, things got even more messy than they were. And here I have a couple of things to show. Right in the end there is a desert, but I think that's worth showing now. There's nothing there. I didn't think I even mined sand. But over here, that is the village that we got all our villagers, and that now it's my industrial area. So it's just starting it out at this point by making this cobblestone generator by mango. It's quite a good one. Should produce 120,000 cobblestone per hour. And then I was cleaning out that area to build the universal tree farm. That's also by mango for version 1.11, I think, but it still worked in 1.14. But when 1.16 came out, I think it stopped working, so I had to build a new one. So back here in the nether, if I go back a bit to this area, that portal over there is where we got the turtles. That's why there's 3 wide platform here. because we had to get those using boats. There's quite a lot of work. So if I follow this coast, there's actually the mob farm that I tried to build. But as I said before, mob spawning wouldn't work properly. This farm is not ideal as well, it's too high up. But I would only I'll get basically no mobs in the server. But now I have a better mob farm. This one still exists, but as you can see, some mobs fall down. Quite a lot actually. I was not expecting all of that. And then I just added this platform too, and I would collect the loot manually. Over here there's this shipwreck that's almost in the right position. Not really actually. Doesn't make a lot of sense. This would need to be above water, but then there are only 2 blocks below that, so I don't know. But then, as I was talking, if I follow this coastline, I'll be able to see that we took some trees out of here to get some wood, as most of the trees close to our base had already destroyed those. And here is where we had the turtles that we got through from here to the base, and then we had to came back to breed those to get the eggs. Over here there's just a pillar. There are tons of those throughout the world because, as I said, we used keep inventory, so we would just kill ourselves to go back to home quicker. We could not use Elytra, so it was a bit tricky to move around. Over here there's actually a villager that got stuck in the nether, and then we just close him here. Over this portal there's the climbing farm that was not done. By this time it took me a bit more to finish it. There should be portals all the way up to here, but in the most current ones this is already done, and there are just a few items. You would AFK on the very top there. It's designed by Omango as well. Quite simple one, and it works just fine. So now there's basically the fortress left. As you can see, I used a lot of quartz slabs to spawn-proof the area. That's because I had a lot of masons, as I said before, and I could sell them a stone and get an emerald, and with an emerald I could get a block of quartz, making so that a block of quartz would be as valuable as a stone block. So I started, instead of using stone slabs, I started using quartz slabs, but then there's a part of stone and another one that's quartz. It's still this way up to today. I think I might change it all to quartz. Looks a bit better. Over here you can see why I mined 14,000 nether bricks. My brother also mined a lot of the pillars here, but we removed almost all the pillars, so that's quite a lot of work. Takes long to break, but you can see that here it's quite easy to get some wither skeletons, and we got all the beacons by killing them by hand, so there is no automation, and we got a lot of beacons. There are beacons everywhere, you should see, and this was actually the place that mob spawning would work the best. There are a lot of items here, a lot of bones, and a lot of nether bricks as well. So I think that's pretty much it for this backup. So I'll just go to the seed in a completely empty state, just to show how it was before. So here I am, about the same spot I started the video. This is basically the mountain that the house is. Tower will be a bit more to the side, and the terrain still has the same shape actually. Didn't change a lot of the shape of the terrain, but here's the seed without nothing. There's only that when I was trying to clean the villagers' inventory, so they would plant here, and the seeds, as the redstone lamp turns off, would be destroyed, and the hopper would collect those. Let me just try to give him a seed. I think I did it. I don't even know where. I think it was to get the villagers out of my base. Let's just throw a seed here, and see if he plants. Might take a while. But that's the idea. They would plant the seeds and they would get destroyed, so I would clean their inventories. That's pretty much how it looked, without nothing. But I'll now move on to the oldest backup I have. So here I am, the oldest backup I have, and things are not that different. The main difference here that I want to show is the temple. It didn't exist. This is how it looked before. Terrain was quite flat, and pretty much the entire area. The walls are, by the most part, flat. And actually my house, as I said, there is no interior on the second floor. But the differences here are very minor. There's only a thing here that's probably worth showing. That is another spawn proofing around the fortress. That if I go out here, you see that it was still not done. There's actually a lot should be done here. That area on the other fortress, this area up here as well. But the spawning was already quite good. So I think that's pretty much what I have to show from the older backups.